Red meat. To eat or not to eat. From Islamic guidance to modern science. What's the real verdict? Is it halal and healthy? Or something we should be more careful with? Today we're diving deep into this topic inshallah. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. There's hadith narrated by Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, in which the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, عليكم بألبان البقر فإنها دواء وأسمانها فإنها شفاء وإياكم ولحومها فإن لحومها داء. This hadith is roughly translated into eat from the milk of cows, for it is a healing. Consume its fat, for it is a cure. But beware of its meat, for it causes disease. This hadith has been classified as Sahih by Al-Hakim and Hasan by Al-Albani rahimahumullah. And what this hadith entails is that every derivative of a cow is beneficial or even therapeutic, except for meat. According to this hadith and its explanation, which will follow later in this video inshallah, meat is a cause for disease. And what's truly fascinating is that modern science actually agrees with this teaching in regards to the consumption of red meat. Today, multiple large studies show a clear pattern. People who eat red meat very frequently, especially processed red meat, have a significantly higher risk of colon cancer, cardiovascular disease, stroke, heart failure, and type 2 diabetes. And the more often it's eaten, the higher the risk becomes. Because of this growing body of research, health organizations such as the American Institute for Cancer Research recommend keeping red meat consumption to no more than 12 to 18 ounces, which is roughly between 300 and 500 grams per week. That's not a ban on meat, it is a call to moderation. But if we look at this topic historically and from an anthropological perspective, humans were never eating red meat as much as we do today. Throughout most of human history, cattle were mainly used for labor, plowing, transporting goods, producing milk, and fertilizing the land. Meat was more of an occasional food, something served during large gatherings or special celebrations. There also was no refrigeration, so meat spoiled very quickly, especially in warmer climates. It simply wasn't practical or common to eat it every day. Compare that to our industrialized world today. We eat drastically more meat than our ancestors ever did. Now you might be thinking, what about the wealthy back then? Surely they ate meat whenever they wanted. And that's exactly the point. It was the elites, the people who had unlimited access to meat, who could eat whatever they wanted and whenever they wanted. Those were the people who suffered the most from diseases linked to overconsumption of red meat. If you take King Henry VIII of England, for example, his meals were loaded with red meat, sometimes several times a day. His health suffered tremendously. He developed gout, obesity, chronic leg ulcers, and possibly type 2 diabetes. Many historians and medical experts believe and claim that his diet played a major role in his suffering. The same thing happened in France during the 17th and 18th centuries. Aristocrats feasted on heavy meat dishes multiple times a day. Physicians at the time described how gout, water retention, and stroke were widespread among the nobility. Even King Louis XIV's health was known to be troublesome, despite, or maybe perhaps because of his enormous consumption of red meat. Roman elites experienced similar issues. Wealthy patricians indulged in grand banquets with roasted meats and rich organ dishes. Ancient physicians like Galen warned of what they called the disease of luxury: gout, kidney stones, and severe digestive problems. Meanwhile, ordinary Romans lived mostly on grains, vegetables, legumes, and didn't face these health problems as commonly. Now, by the 19th century, meat became a visible symbol of wealth and status in Europe. But doctors of that era noticed the same pattern repeating: obesity, heart issues, gout, among those who could afford daily meat. They even called it the gout of the rich. So to conclude everything we've covered so far, the big question remains. From an Islamic perspective, is red meat haram? The short answer is no. Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah commented on the earlier hadith we mentioned and clarified that cow meat is halal and there's goodness in it. The Prophet ﷺ and his family ate beef, and he even sacrificed a cow on behalf of his family at a farewell pilgrimage. But the Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah advised not to go in excess because exceeding moderation in red meat consumption is what the hadith is warning against. And that advice perfectly matches modern medical guidelines. Red meat isn't forbidden. It is halal, but too much of it can harm the body. And that's something both science and the Sunnah agree upon. So to conclude, Islam teaches moderation. Science advises moderation in regards to the consumption of red meat, so it might be wise for us today to limit red meat consumption to no more than about 500 grams per week. In the next videos, inshallah, we'll be exploring cow milk and saturated fats and the science behind those topics, inshallah. Until then, may Allah grant us health, balance and wisdom in what we consume. Wassalamu ala man ittaba al-huda.